Right, it's the time for Joy News Interactive, which I'm sure is going to be an April Fool packed one.
Well, yes, I want people to send in their comments and send us messages if they pranked anybody and whether they were pranked.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to hearing from you on that. Welcome. It's the Friday edition and we are doubly excited because it's a new month as well. Please join us as usual on facebook.com/joynewsontv. Twitter.com/joynewsontv and on WhatsApp. The number is 0560800000. Please add your name and location when sending us a message. On to our first story. Give our father a state burial. That's the wish of one of the sons of late comedian Babu Kala. The entertainment team was at a special celebration of his life earlier today, and well, the story has gotten a lot of reaction on Facebook. But we'll start with your views from the streets first. Do you think Babu Kala should be given a state burial?
Yes, because now, in Ghana, assuming they're going to fetch water, you must what? Put on your head. Yeah, so it's not something that is bad when you are advising a young one or whoever in this world.
The head basically is not used. Like, you can't say it's used for carrying load or something, but if they were maybe...
All right, we apologize for that wrong tape, but let's actually take the one of us asking you whether you think Bob Okala should have a state burial or not.
So I think he deserves it. If only people will not take advantage of that and then maybe say that anybody who probably went through Babu Kala's career, when he or she dies, the person should also be given a state burial, then I think it's a good thing to do because he's done a lot.
Should government give Babu Kala a state burial?
Yes, of course, it has to be, because if someone mean like important to the nation, you're supposed to help and support so that maybe the nation, if someone is coming young, may try to help so that maybe you know that after all, it will mean something good to the state. Yeah.
So you don't see anything wrong with the fact that the family is demanding a state burial for Babu Kala?
No, this one is not like the family is demanding. Need like support, understand? Like, this is not a demanding matter, maybe because he is popular. So if someone is popular, after all, they have to explore the person so that everything will be nice.
So your basis is because he was popular. So if I was very popular in the country and I died, I should be given state burial. Is that what you're saying?
No, that doesn't mean that when you are popular, so you're supposed to give a state burial. But it's like, this one is not like, I mean, not like say, oh, but it's normal. It's not.
When Atta Mills died, they buried him as a state thing. So he's just a common floor member. He's not part of the government. So this is for the family. The family is supposed to decide. He's not supposed to be buried as a...
So in fact, you don't think that Babu Kala has contributed so much to the country to deserve a state burial?
I know he has contributed, but as for the state burial, no.
So those were a few of you from the streets on that issue. Israel, how are the reactions on Facebook?
I'll start from Twitter. And then Nambi Patrick, Schiffman says, I agree with Babu Kala's family because Mahama cannot use him for NDC campaign and dump him. This is the time NDC has to honor him. And then on Facebook, Abna says, why should he be giving a state burial? Well, I don't see the use of a state burial in this. Yeah, he served his country well, but that has no call for a state burial. A state funeral is a public funeral ceremony observing the strict rules of protocol held to honor people of national significance. State funerals usually include much pomp and ceremony as well as religious overtones and distinctive elements of military tradition. Go on and on. Essentially, he's saying you don't think he deserves that. John says, let's sympathize with the bereaved family and let them know that their deceased was a public figure. But giving him a state burial is more than expectation. And Emmanuel says, an example of the life he led, and he thinks is a joke. And Odehebi says, this request is ridiculous. Maybe the National Theatre will do. Now Patrick says, if possible, why not? And Sumani says, would state burial bring him back to life? State burial in what capacity? Or as a comedian, how sacrificial is comedy to our or you mean how significant is comedy to our national development to warrant state burial? So, well, and Mabel thinks it's another April Fool's joke.
It's not. It was a request one of his sons made earlier today. Now, Mami watching the show in BBNE, thank you for your compliment. She says, if I don't think it's important, but to his family, I guess it is important. This one is saying that if Babu Kala is given a state burial, then every comedian should be given two. And this one is from Kenyatta. This one says, for state burial, hell no. Coming to think of it, who deserves that kind of a burial? The family should take responsibility. And this one says, Ghana will be making a big mistake if he is giving a state burial. And this one is from Stremse Michael in Italy. And Arnold from Ashie says, give Babu Kala a state burial and give it to 1,000 other popular people. And Mohammed Astrudamongo doesn't think it would be appropriate to give Babu Kala a state burial. Babu Kala was only a popular Ghanaian comedian, and that must not guarantee him the status of a statesman. So those are some of your comments coming through on WhatsApp about this issue. Now, let's get on to that story about the Primary 1 science textbook, shall we? It's been trending all day, and you know, photos have been going around social media asking, or actually photos of the function of the head have been going around social media, and there have been a lot of comments, some in support of the description and others against it. Israel, can we see the photo?
All right, so this is the photo. And the human body parts perform different functions. So let us learn about the different body parts and their functions. And part of the head, part of the body, head, functions for carrying load. It's curious though that they show a boy for the head and then they show a girl.
Wow, you noticed that.
Carrying
the load. Another thing to talk about.
The feminists wouldn't be excited about that.
Not at all.
Okay,
well,
so
we went out there with these photos, and these are some of your comments.
Yes, because now, you know, in Ghana, assuming they're going to fetch water, you must what? Put on your head. Yeah, so it's not something that is bad when you are advising a young one or whoever in this world.
The head basically is not used. Like, you can't say it's used for carrying load or something, but if they were to, maybe they want to explain it more when they want to go into details, like they want to talk about the brain, maybe other stuff, some tissues in the head, and they can say it's used for thinking and learning and all that other stuff. And it depends on the point of view, but I don't think it's right.
So I want you to tell me, for a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old child, how would you explain the function of the head to that child?
Okay, to me, if I should have a kid at home explaining the function of the head, tell him the head is used for learning, thinking, formulating ideas, as my friend said, and maybe I can add the physical aspects to it.
A science textbook for basic children, for the basic school, I'm talking about people in class 1, is suggesting that the head is for nodding and carrying loads. Do you think that this is right?
It may be right. It may be right because you can use it to carry and for nodding too.
Function of the head is used for reasoning. You use your head to think. The head controls every part of the body.
Good.
Nodding and carrying of load, it's an activity the head can perform, not necessarily the basic function it performs.
The function of the human head, I think we use the human head to carry things. And the head too is where the brain is found.
So for you, what is the basic function of the head? And you know, Lord asked an interesting question. I mean, if you're explaining to a 5-year-old, 5-6-year-old, are you going to say that it carries all the sensory organs important for the function of the body? It's long.
At 5-6 years, are you telling the child that they should be using their heads to carry load?
It's for carrying load and nodding. Nodding.
You know, because I mean, at this rate, then people are going to say we're misusing our heads.
Our heads. You're right, we are really misusing our heads.
Because
we are used to carry load.
It's been told us that we should use it to carry load.
That's the function, carry load. What are people saying?
Ruben says, and he's sending a message from Nyaho. He says, in the jurisdiction of Ghanaian culture, the head can function as load carrier. But scientifically, it is mediocre to say that. That is the kind of thing that we bombarded our pupils with. And when it comes to brainstorming, these children with the correct things, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
In fact, Ghana education system is very porous. No wonder the stakeholders of GES do not send their children to these schools. And then Rangy says, when will the Ghanaian be practical in teaching and learning? Don't we use it to carry staffs in this country? Whether it is healthy or not, it's a different matter altogether. To me, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this. Obed says, haha, Masresa, or Mambini. And Nambe Patrick says, if the head is for thinking, then what is the brain used for? To laugh or to sing? Look, the brain and the head aren't the same. Professor Kwam is definitely right. And then TMG says, yes, our culture, we're born into it and still practice it. Francis Tufo, he says, is this? Oh no.
Is this another April Fool's prank?
Mohammed Hafiz says, modern Ghana be that. And Wealthy Evans says, hey, exactly where our problem started from. And Emmanuel Champon says, no wonder Nanado's name was used in mock exams as propaganda, because we have a big problem as a nation. And Prince says, how can anyone defend this? And Nantongma says, nothing is wrong with the textbook if one is to take the class into consideration. And at that age, children learn through pictures, right? So
on WhatsApp, this one says, my son says we use the head to sleep. Okay. And this one says, if the head is not used for carrying load, then I guess people should start using their legs to carry loads. And this one is from Abu in Nima. This one says, that man making a fuss about this must give us a break. The human head can be used for load carriage. You should come to Ginny and see what heavy loads our mothers carry foodstuffs with from the farm, like what we go chop. And this one is from Barima Ginny. And a lot of comments coming through. I'll take this one from Nana K. Asama, who is saying, what disgraceful leaders we have. Can they research and upgrade their work? Oh my gosh. So those are some of your comments coming through. Asia.
All right. So yes, the head can be used to carry load. But we only do that because out of necessity. Ideally, you should use your hand to carry the load. If it's too heavy, you use a cart, but not your head. It becomes, the load ends up on your head only because you don't have the other options. But, I mean, that's not the way to go.
Yeah, but maybe people find it more convenient to put it on their head. I mean, your arms might get tired if you don't have a cart.
Let's rest the head and use it for something else.
After the break, I want to hear about your April Fool's Day. Were you pranked? Thanks for staying with us on the interactive segment of the news. It's almost time to go, but let's read a few of your tweets before we hear from you about your April Fool's Day.
All right, so quick one, some Twitter comments. Mark Z says, Professor Kwam's textbooks are always confusing. Even the ones that are sold to SHS students are very difficult to comprehend. And to that, I'll say, well, yeah, if you use your head to carry loads a lot of time, you don't, it becomes difficult for you to understand some things. And Kwesi Madresa says, yes, he should get one since he was one of the pioneers of Ghanaian comedy. And you're referring to Babu Kala, the request by the family that he should be giving a state burial. And we have the April Fool pranks. You cue me, I'll go.
Well, I'm just getting this one also from a parent who says, my 6-year-old boy just told me the head can be used to carry a small bowl. So that's what he's sending us. This one's from Mystic in Spintex. But yeah, April Fool's Day, okay? How did it go for you? Israel, what are people saying on Facebook? We've been asking about their worst pranks ever.
Daniel Ado says, Mama V leaving Joy News. I mean, this morning there was a prank they pulled on the viewers. Isaac Lattis says, my worst was the lady gave me a wedding invitation card bearing her name. I attended and realized that it was someone else. The painful aspect was the time I attended wasted to see them when I had a place to go. Aston says, Joy, please tell me the rest of Kojo is just an April Fool prank. Yes, it is an April Fool prank. Danso says, reports reaching indicate that the two Guantanamo have been transferred back to the United States following persistent outreach from Ghanaians.
Oh, really?
Our source disclosed that the two Gitmo
online.
detainees were secretly whisked away from the shores of the country yesterday around 11:30 p.m. in a happy April Fool. Nathaniel says, it's some of your news updates.
Yes.
Kai. Okay.
Some of your news updates, Kaika. I don't know what he's trying to say there, but you know, the Super Morning Show pulled a prank on its listeners.
Yeah.
You know, when they said BNI officers had come to arrest
Kojo Yangsing. And it was live on air. Everything
live on air.
Played out on
My
air.
cousin was pranked. He was furious. He was listening. He sent a message to our family group platform that we have, and he was peeved. I'm like, relax. Okay, it's like April Fool's prank. But some people were pranked. Other people thought, hey, it was too obvious. So, hey, you can never get it right. Favor from Spintex says, my April Fool prank was when my boss went out this morning. An hour later, I called her and told her that the big dog had been hit by a car and was dead. I was so serious that I was weeping while telling her the untrue story. She fell for it and nearly sacked me. So this one said, I was shocked when I heard Nana Ado stepping down for Baumia, and this from Mohammed Astrid Damongo. And this is another story that was also going down. I think that the media houses were pranking a lot of people today, but that's how we wrap up on the interactive segment of the news. Thank you so much for sending in your comments. We appreciate you a lot. Happy new month, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.
All right, and that'll be all for the bulletin. Before we go, a quick run through our top stories. The staff of the Judicial Service have called off the strike after meeting with the Employment and Labour Relations Minister. The Health Ministry is warning a later